All right, everyone. Not that I don't love to hear everybody chatting with each other, but we have a lot on our agenda today. You know how this goes. It's very fast and furious with all of our speakers and representatives from the city. So feel free to eat and continue on with your lunch as we start the program. So I just, first of all, can you guys all hear me? Can you hear me in the back? Am I tinny? Because I kind of sound tinny to me. All right. So we have like 110 in here today. That's fantastic. So thank you for coming. Thank you for taking time out of your day. It shows how important this event is to our business community, to hear from our city and our Sheriff's Department and our school district and all the things that help make Buffalo great. So we appreciate that. For those of you who don't know me, and I don't know that that's really anyone in the room, but I am Sue with the Buffalo Chamber. Melissa is here with us. We host this event every year, and our chamber is here to support you as our business leaders in the community. So we are here to serve you, we are here to help promote you, and we are just here to make Buffalo a great place to have your business, a great place to live, a great place to work. We are a tourism bureau as well, so we try to promote other people to come and see our great community that we all know and love. Part of working with the city, one clarification, a lot of people always think that the chamber is part of the city, like Melissa and I are paid city staff, and we are not. Sometimes, we wish we could be, and then there's other times when they get a lot of grief on Facebook that we're glad we're not. But anyway, we couldn't do what we do without the city's help. So all of the events that you love require a lot of effort from our city, and that can be our city administration, it can be our city streets department, it can be our parks department. Every event we hold is a lot more muscle on their end than it is for Melissa and I to host it. How many barricades, where is Carrie? How many barricades do we use for Buffalo Days? 120. 120. So they're running around dropping 120 barricades off for us, and do the same for art and craft. And so without the city, we couldn't do what we do, and without us, you wouldn't as community members and business leaders be able to do some of the great things we have in our community. So it's a team effect, and that's what we love. We are just, again, happy to have you here. I want to thank my board members, so I don't know who all is here. Just stand up quick if you can, and we have a board of 11. So here we have Holly and Jackie and April and Jen and Tom and Eric. Did I get everybody? So thank you guys. They all help make our decisions and help Melissa and I keep our office humming. And then I want to thank the sponsors of this event. So on your table tent there, you will see we have Anchor Realty. We have Jeff with us today, if he wants to stand, from Anchor Realty. Jeremy Latz with Culver's. Melanie Clement for Realty, I saw her come in. She's right here. She's new to the chamber membership, by the way, so do reach out and say hi to her. Holly with Old National Bank. And Bob from South Point. I did not see Bob come in. He's right here. So thank you guys for making this event possible, and I don't have Heidi in the room, but thank you to Bison Creek always for making a great meal and a great presentation. I am going to introduce our mayor, and he will introduce Taylor from the city, and then we'll kind of self-introduce from there. The city will have a few staff that will be speaking, and we're trying to keep it quick, so if everybody does, 10 minutes or so, we should be able to get out of here in time for you to get back to work. I don't know, maybe you want to stay longer, but anyway, this will be Mayor Steve Downer's first State of the City, at least in my reign at the chamber, so I'm excited to hear what he has to say, and I'm sure he's excited to be here, because, what's better than starting your day with 110 people looking at you?
Nothing at all.
It'll work. So welcome. And this thing on your tables, that's the events all coming up. So keep that with you. That is everything from the Chamber's Good Morning Buffalo to our events to some community events. We will be doing a legislative update at some point once we know the session is done. And we also will be providing some training for the paid family leave once that session is done, so we know where the rules kind of land on that. So just FYI, but just keep reading your newsletters and you are all good. So, Steve.
Thank you, Sue. It's good to be here. I wasn't nervous at all until I got here and realized I didn't have my reading glasses.
I have some.
And I would like to say, well, first of all, thank you and the chamber and the sponsors for putting this event on, and how nice it is to be in a room full of real people to talk about city stuff. So thanks for being here. So I told Taylor this was a bit of a leap, the mayor's thoughts, but I don't know how well anybody could read that, but I'd like to pick just a couple things out of here. And one is on that vision when it talks about a safe environment. I think what the city tries to do basically is provide the basic building blocks of prosperity so you can do business here and thrive. And it talks in that paragraph about making Buffalo a great place to live, work, play, and I would add do business. We certainly have that in mind when the city goes about its business. And in the vision statement there, it talks about innovation. And we had a pretty good discussion about this at a recent strategic planning session the council and staff held. And I think everybody agreed we don't want to be on the bleeding edge of innovation, and maybe not even the leading edge. But as Councilmember Fantaza put it, the second mouse gets the cheese. So we want to be up to date, but we don't necessarily want to be out there ahead of proven technologies and innovation and things. Which leads me to the first bullet point at the bottom there is Buffalo Fiber. So Buffalo Fiber's been in business for quite a while. The city's used it for its own purposes for over a decade, probably two, and has hooked up other customers along the way. And it's a fast, reliable, local internet service. And phase one, which we rolled out last year, went to business. And I think that was no accident because we value you and what business does and adds to the city of Buffalo. And I would urge you, talk to a Buffalo Fiber customer that's here or talk to staff, look into it because this is a real win-win-win for everybody in the room here. It's a win for the customer because you get a fast, reliable service. It's a win for the city because of the financial benefit, and it just strengthens our operations generally. And it's a win for the city as a whole because, like electricity, this is a service we would expect to make money on, and a portion of that margin would be transferred to the general fund, and that helps reduce upward pressure on your property taxes. So I would ask everybody, if you're not a customer, take a good hard look at it. And I think you'll be convinced as you go along and talk to people that it's something you should do for your benefit. And there's another item on there, the Public Utilities Commission. This is an idea that's kicked around for quite a while. We've got a board for this and that, just about everything except for where the money is, which is the utilities. And it's become apparent to staff and council, particularly over the last couple of years, that that's a portion of our budget that needs more attention, greater scrutiny. And the idea of forming a separate body to oversee the utilities isn't to isolate or hide it from the public. It's to bring greater scrutiny over what those utilities do, over their budgets, their planning, and policies and how they operate. So, and that body, there's detail to work out yet. And, I mean, it may or may not happen, but we're going down that road. Is that body will have significant authority. And we're looking for people to serve on that have business backgrounds. So I just want to put it out there, and if anybody thinks that's something they might be interested where you can make a real significant contribution to the community but you don't have to put your name on the lawn sign and growl for votes. I think it would be a great avenue for a lot of people to get involved in. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to somebody who I have grown to increasingly respect and like and appreciate over the last, since he's come to the city, and especially the last few years, or months, it seems like years, that, for some of you, as mayor. So please join me in welcoming Taylor Bronow, City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor, and everybody for attending. Everybody can hear me, not too loud. Again, it does feel kind of teeny when you're standing up here. So, as Mayor Downer mentioned, my name's Taylor Bronow. We were just doing the math on this with some of the staff. This is the fourth time I presented at the Buffalo State of the City event. Every time it gets a little more comfortable. I am happy to be in front of this room, speaking to you guys about the great work we're doing at the city, and just promoting. I think if I were to sum up 2025 and 2026, I would say we're going to be busy. We've been busy, we are busy, and we're going to be busy. I think we have a little bit longer of a presentation this year, sorry for the presenters after us. But there's just a lot going on that we want to inform this group of and the rest of our stakeholders in the city of Buffalo. So thank you everybody for being here, thank you to the chamber, thank you to the sponsors. So first, I just want to point out, so this is our city council, 5-member council, 1 mayor, 4 council members. There are a few new members of this board after the last election. Aaron Walsh and Sheila Crawford were both elected as new members to the Buffalo City Council. George Fantauza had been on the city council in an appointed position for a period of time, filling a vacant seat, and he was elected to a 4-year term. And then Mayor Downer had been on the council for 14 years? Yes. Before he was elected to mayor, so he moved up, replacing Mayor Terry Lockermeyer. So we have a new group. Brad has been on the group for 2 years as well. They've been excellent to work with. You have some very good representatives of this community. They ask good questions. They make good decisions. They want to do what's best for the city of Buffalo, and that's great for you, and that's really great for staff. It's a very great group to work with. We do have the mayor and 2 council members here. Can I just have Sheila and Brad stand to be recognized? I didn't tell them they were going to have to do this, but Brad and Sheila. As Mayor mentioned, we've been going through a strategic planning process, and it's been fun and engaging to work with this group of council members and learn a little bit more about what the priorities are, what their priorities are, what they care about, and it's been a good process to learn with them and learn with staff, and it results in a stronger organization with a good clear path forward. Every year this list grows in attendance. Last year I think we had just under 20 staff members here. This year we have 22, I believe. So if you would stand and be recognized, I won't go through all your names, but they should be spread out across the room. These are the people that provide the services that the city relies on. They're very important to our organization. They work hard, they care a lot about the future of the city of Buffalo, and it's a pleasure being able to lead and work with them on a daily basis. So I've encouraged them. They will stick around after the meeting. If you have any questions, please approach them and ask. They like to engage with folks too. So I have a few slides here that I want to touch on. First, and then we've touched on this because it's important. I think in every single one of the state of the cities we've done street maintenance projects. It's what a lot of people see. It's a lot of people think of when they think of the work the city of Buffalo does. Back in 2023, we had a pavement management plan done. And it told us something that we thought we were going to hear. We knew we were going to hear, but it was nonetheless good to hear it. We need to invest more in our annual pavement management program. So we've done that. Since 2000, you'll see our numbers. In 2023, we had a $500,000 budget. We bumped that to just short of $2 million last year, and it's just about $1.4 million this year. And you're seeing that. These 2 maps up here are our 24 street maintenance projects and our 25 street maintenance projects. You can see by looking at those that there's not really an area of town that we haven't touched trying to improve the aesthetics and the functionality of our streets. So that continues to be a major priority of our city council and of our city staff. I do note that in 26, I expect that number will be smaller. We do have a large street reconstruction project that we're doing in 26 and 27 that we're going to be routing some of those resources and those funds to. But this continues, it has been, it continues to be a major priority for our city council. I'll touch on a few of the more specific projects here. This one we've been talking about for a while. It's the Ryan's Way project. It's a backage road that extends from County Road 35, Williams Way, to First Street Northeast that completes that whole backage road system. We did receive a federal grant back in 2023 in the amount of $2.4 million to do this project. That should cover just about most of it. There will be a small portion that we will need to pay for either with assessments or with additional city funds. We plan to start that project in 25. You won't see a lot of work being done because we are just stabilizing the ground to get that ready for construction since that area is so wet. Looking forward, I did want to mention that we've been working with the county that there's plans to construct a roundabout at that Ryan's Way intersection with CSAH 35. We don't have it on the CIP yet, but we're estimating in 2028, 2029 to accommodate the additional traffic that we anticipate is going to be traveling along that backage road. It's an exciting project that'll open up a number of development opportunities along that stretch as well. This year, we will be the city is leading the construction of a right turn lane on Highway 25 that accesses the Buffalo Companion Animal Clinic and Ruffalo Doggy Spa. You'll remember last year to accommodate the Chipotle and Starbucks development, we closed off that frontage road, which really wasn't in a great place. Anyways, it was causing its own issues and concerns. And we are now adding a right turn lane to accommodate folks turning right off of Highway 25 to access those businesses. This will be a 2025 project, and we did receive a grant that will cover just about 90% of the addition of that right turn on Highway 25. 12th Street Northeast, we are going to be paving that road this year. That will complete the 3rd Street South connection from Highway 25 to Calder Avenue. This is a road that the city maintains as a gravel road. A couple of years ago, we shut it down just because it was in poor condition. There were a lot more people than we thought that traveled using that road, but it was a good decision. But we're reopening that, and that will complete that access now. That will be paved all the way from Highway 25 to Calder Avenue. And again, we did receive a MnDOT grant to do about 90% of that project.
Thank you.
I have a whole slide on grants. So I mentioned before Northeast Reconstruction Project. We've been teasing's not the right term. We've been talking about it for quite some time now. You'll see it's a large area on the northeast section of kind of the old city of Buffalo. Phase 1 we're planning to start in 2026. We have done some pre-project engagement. Thank you to all of you who participated in that engagement. We do have a task force that's made up of business owners and staff and our city representatives to kind of lead this project and give input on this project. The city council back in 2025 approved the streetscape project, or streetscape plan, I should say, and final design is underway from our engineering firm. Again, we expect construction to begin in 2026, wrap up in 2027. There will be a lot of questions. This will be a very impactful project in terms of road construction and detours in our downtown area. So we're going to do the best we can to make sure we try to accommodate businesses in that area, communicate with you as well as we can on phasing, but we won't know those phasing details until we've probably selected a contractor. That we hope we'll select that in early spring of next year. And then the future phases, you'll see there's phases 2, 3, and 4. we are still working on a plan to complete those phases. They're undetermined. We may do some maintenance work to extend the useful life in those areas in the meantime. We have I'll plug this later, but we do have a project website up that speaks directly to this project. It talks about the approval process, our timelines, and I think there's a newsletter sign up or update sign up that if you go in, type in your email, you get updates anytime that page is updated. So if you're interested in this project, I'd encourage you to check that out. I'll give that link here in a little bit. We also have a lot of projects in our parks. So this year we're working with the school district to build a fully accessible playground at Lions Park. The school district is taking care of the base, which is a very important part of that project, as you know, and then we're taking care of the playground. So it'll be a major upgrade on to that playground. I'm sure a number of you have heard this was something that we weren't prepared to talk to this group about last year, but we were discussing it. The city has purchased the former Penrad building for remodel into a future community center. Our community center currently is over by our city center. It's rather small, does not accommodate our needs or accommodate, our users' needs. So we've been hearing about this for a long time. The community has, and we just never had a great opportunity to pursue it. This came along, the building owner sold us a building at a good price. He's been active and engaged in the process, so we'll be excited to get this open. We have selected a contract, an architect and a construction manager for this project. We've had 3 meetings with that group. We anticipate construction will start sometime this fall, and we will open this facility sometime in 2026. There's a budget of about $1 million we have to do upgrades, and we're really trying to fit those upgrades within that budget. So that, I think that's the process we're going through now. We're excited. We're excited to be moving out here. More will come on this. We'll also have a project page set up in the community center when we have more information.
One of the big things in that, Taylor, is the elevator, right? Like that's
Yes.
a large expense.
Yes, it's a 2-floored building, so Sue was asking about an elevator, and an elevator is an expensive addition, but it's a needed addition to make sure we can accommodate everyone of all ages and abilities. So we, right now, part of our design process is just talking about where are we going to put the elevator, what's the most effective, cost-efficient place to put it and build it. And then there'll also be some improvements that we'll add there as well. So, parks, again, I mentioned we do have a task force formed to talk about relocating our Veterans Memorial Park. We're looking at locating that, I believe, along the lakefront along Highway 25. So there'll be more to come with that group. There's a community group led mixed with staff as well as elected leaders talking about where the city can relocate that park. The splash pad, we were hoping to have that built this year. I don't know if last year we had updated this group, but we were hoping to build this in the West Pulaski Park area. We had received a DNR grant of $350,000 to build the splash pad, and as part of that process, we need to do an archaeological survey. When we did that survey, we found potential remnants of habitation and use in that area. So it became inefficient for us, or not cost effective for us, to build the splash pad project there. So we had to regroup. We worked with the fundraising committee, and our plan now is to build that splash pad out at the Penrad site. So we will have the community splash pad as well as our community center all on that same campus. We have applied for that same DNR grant. We do feel we have pretty good chances of receiving that grant. If we receive that grant, the plan is to move forward with construction in 26 and be open in 27. So that effort's still underway. There's been a very active and engaged group of volunteers, some of whom may be in this room, fundraising for that. So that's still well within our CIP and plans. It's just had a bit of a hurdle to overcome with the archaeological study that we had to do. Boat rentals will be back open on Buffalo Lake. Those were closed for the Highway 25 construction project, so those will reopen this year. We are updating our parks improvement plan. I think there'll be opportunities for public engagement and input on this as we move forward. And then our Civic Center, this is the second year we've done a concert. And the purpose of the concert is to raise funds for our Civic Center. Last year, it was a great success. This year, we're having a concert on September 13th. I don't believe tickets are on sale yet. JP's not shaking his head. So we'll post stuff on our page when we have those tickets available for sale. I encourage you all to attend. It was a blast last year. So I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this. We've made a very concerted effort in the last 3 to 4 to 5 years, and this started from the council. It's worked through staff and our consulting firms to find and apply for and receive grants to do a lot of our projects. And since 2023, we've been awarded almost $20 million in federal and state grants. This doesn't include entitlements that we're already receiving. These are grants that our engineering firm, our finance team, our staff worked to and applied for and received. And as $20 million in a 3-year period, that's saving the city a lot of money. It's saving the residents a lot of money. We couldn't do these projects. We couldn't have done some of these projects without those grants. So I just want to thank our council members, thank the staff that have put in the time and the effort to apply for these grants, and we're going to continue to do so. We do have a couple more, a few more in the works that we are hoping to receive, so we can do some additional projects. And then lastly, I teased this a bit before. We have reorganized a bit. We've created a project management team. That team is responsible for making sure, basically, just like it sounds, making sure all of our projects, we have a lot of them, move forward from start to completion and they're successful. That team is also responsible for creating project web pages specific to big projects we have going on. So we have created a page on our website. It's there, and then we also have 5 pages right now talking about our First Avenue reconstruction project, or Northeast reconstruction project, the former Wright County Government Center redevelopment that Dave will be talking about in a little bit, the Buffalo Community Center project. We're working on a transportation safety action plan. When you walked in today, our city engineer, Justin Canas, was handing out flyers. We are currently in the engagement process. There's more information here if you'd like to engage, and then also our municipal liquor store project. Information for all of those are up on that page. We'll have several more added over the course of the next month or two when we get this up and running. So it's exciting. It's meant to drive engagement and drive input while we're in the middle of approval process or decision-making processes. So I encourage you all to check out that page, maybe link it, so you can have easy access to it going forward. So with that, it's the end of my presentation, but I am going to introduce Jason Nussberger. He's been the Utilities and IT Director here for just about 4 years. Has been great working with him. He's done some great things at the utility. He's also been spearheading our fiber effort along with his team and some of the changes we're making in that utility department. So with that, please welcome Jason Nussberger.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Taylor. It almost sounds like you said 40 years. It has been busy. But appreciate everyone coming out this afternoon, giving us a chance to talk about our hometown utilities. Buffalo's pretty special. We have 4 utilities, 4 city-owned utilities: electric, water, water reclamation, and fiber. Water reclamation is also known as our sewer department. So I'll just kind of highlight those 4 utilities today, some of the big projects. But really, these utilities are so successful in Buffalo due to the staff. These staff have high-level operational licensure in our water and sewer departments. The NPCA regulates those 2 utilities very high. We have 4 Class A, which is the highest within those 2 departments. Our electric department has seasoned journeyman linemen and a few new apprentices that are up and coming, and our fiber department has the technical knowledge from their past experience with our internal IT team to make these utilities really come along. We'll jump right into our electric, Buffalo Utilities Electric. A lot of what Taylor just mentioned is those projects that are upcoming, Ryan's Way, the roundabouts. So anytime we get new plans, we have to get those utilities either moved or put in place ahead of the project. So our Buffalo Electric team does a lot of work during the summer, putting in new plant and also maintaining the existing plant. The biggest project we have in our electric department is our second substation. The second substation is going to allow us for more resiliency, more reliability. Currently, we just have one substation in Buffalo. So due to our growth and our all the awesome things that Dave Kelly brings to the table, we're going to need more capacity as we continue on. So we're putting together a 25 megawatt transformer, so it'll be similar size to substation 1. We'll be able to move the feeders, create more loops, create more, again, resiliency and reliability. We have a shared project between our water and electric department. I think I've spoke about this about every year, but we're finally kind of winding down on this project. Advanced metering infrastructure has a lot of benefits for both the community and for the utility as well. Utility-wise, we'll be more efficient. We won't have to do on-site meter reading. We'll have a lot of data to help out with rate structures and keep our rates competitive for everyone and all our customers. On the end user side, you'll be able to see interval data. You'll be able to see how much power and water you're using right from your meter, and that'll come directly to you through your customer portal. So a lot of efficiency within our utility billing and utility operation departments. So we're excited about that. But you'll see utility use. They'll be either giving you a call or city staff to set up appointments to swap out your meter. Utility use is a contracted service that we're using to keep the project moving as fast as we can. Project completion, we're looking at wrapping up all the residential side October 2025. And the water commercial will also be wrapped up here in October 2025. Our electric commercial, we're still having some lead times on meters, but we hope to get those in Q2 yet and have that completed by the end of the year. Jump right into fiber. Mayor Downer did an excellent job discussing fiber, the community benefits. We've really expanded this network over the last 3 years. We had a phase 1 project, like the mayor mentioned. The main mission of that was to connect every industrial and commercial customer within the city. So please reach out to us. We've been busy, about 4 to 6 commercial installs a month throughout the winter. So we're excited to bring you on board. We have an excellent team and sales consultant, Dan. We'll be happy to talk to you about all the competitive pricing that we can provide. It's all transparent pricing. So if we are a little higher than the competitor, we'll talk about the values, the equipment that's included, and everything we can bring to the table on fiber. But as you know, fiber is the fastest technology available. Kind of blows the doors off of cable, Starlink, and the 5G wireless. And it goes directly into your business, connects right to your firewalls, and again, we have that technical staff that can really help you, all the way through the project. One thing that separates us from the other ISPs is that local same-day service. You're not paying the bills that you're paying are going right back to the city. They're going right back to the infrastructure. They're not going to Wall Street. They're not going to shareholders. And that's a big value for not only just the local owned utility, but just everybody involved. Just a couple quick maps. We always get asked, where are you at? What are you doing? This was phase 1. It's kind of a hard map to see, but that was phase 1's mission, was to get our industrial corridors. As we jump right into phase 2, which will be kicking off here about May 15th, we've secured a contractor, TD&I Cabling, to produce phase 2. As you can see, the pink is our existing network plus phase 1. And then our green areas are going to be the phase 2. And then we also have a couple brown areas, West Pulaski and Misty Meadows, that we've included as bid alternates. And the entire project has come well under budget. So we will be doing the alternates. We hope to build a really good relationship with TD&I and keep the expansion going. Phase 2 is going to offer us 2,700 opportunities, so we'll really get a good model of what the community wants and needs for the fiber service. Pre-sales wise, we're up to about 300 on this phase, 300 pre-sales, and we look to get to that 500 and 800 mark before the 4th of July here. And of course, you can sign up right here, the number's right there, so. Can we keep them here until they sign up? Is that fair? This is community run, state of the city. But know the team, yeah, you'll talk with Amy, you'll talk with Derek, you'll talk with Steven, Hunter, and Dan. That's the team right there. So it's local. Those are the people you're gonna talk with. Those are the people that are gonna come into your homes, come to your businesses. So it's just neat to have that local fiber utility in town. If you are a resident and you're wondering if you're in the map or not, we do have a service availability on our website too. So go to our website, we keep that pretty fresh, and check if you have service availability. Last but not least, our water reclamation department doesn't always get the credit it deserves. None of the capital or major projects this year, but one item on the grant list was the sewer lining project. Sewer itself, we have quite the collections system within the city of Buffalo. As you can see on the map over here, all those numbers are all the lift stations that take place to make that collection system work. Each lift station has pumps and electronics and data, and we need well-trained operators to make this collection system work. Sewer departments help protect the community, help protect the environment, and our wastewater staff really have efficient operations. They've really made that plant something special. We're always looking for different revenue sources as well, so we're trying to put together a team to test some of our jams, jellies, and perfumes, if you're interested. I'm sure it'll go pretty fast. I mean, it'll fill up pretty quick. But no, sewer department's very needed in town, and they just do an excellent job. Heavily regulated department, so. I just want to wrap up. Big thanks for all your support on municipal utilities. It does truly bring a tremendous value to a community, helps that upward pressure on the tax base. There's an electric transfer of about $1 million every year, helps support the Civic Center, helps support the general fund. So all those funds just kind of intertwine and help each other out. It's locally owned by our customers and our residents. Local customer service, the reliability, the ability to protect that environment, and the biggest thing is innovation. That's kind of what sets us apart from other utilities in the state. The pictures up here are from our customer appreciation event. We have that every year during MEA week, so feel free to come out. It's usually the Thursday of MEA week. We provide a lunch, good conversation, and usually some games and some takeaways for anybody that comes. Kara, our customer service director, does an excellent job in events. She has a great outdoor fair coming up here in June. We have this event, and we're gonna try to put together a state of the utility towards the end of the year too. So, thank you again for your time. I'd like to introduce exciting and a big idea guy, David Kelly. Keeps us busy on the utility side, that's for sure. So.
Thank you, everybody. As Jason and Taylor said, this is year 4 for me. I feel like it's flown by since we've been here, so it's kind of fun. Jason and I started the same month, so we see a lot of each other, but it's good. And yeah, I like to keep them busy, because if I'm busy, then that means the city's busy, which is always a good sign. So every year I like to start off talking about building permit data. This just gives a good feeling for what the city's been experiencing, typically when it comes to growth. And I always start off with the single-family permits. That's the predominant housing type we have here. So the last year, we had 70 new single-family permits. This was compared to 68 in 2023. This is pretty typical. I think the last couple of years before this, we've averaged about 75. So kind of right in the range there. I think the exciting part with that is we have been consistently seeing people interested in coming to Buffalo, and there's been consistent interest in growth in the city. So we expect with some of the developments that I'll talk about in a little bit, we expect this number probably to go up a little bit. And I'll mention a little bit as well that the City Housing Redevelopment Authority recently completed a housing study, and the findings from that housing study show that we need more housing of all kinds. The exciting part from the city side is that there's a lot of demand to come to the city, and there's a lot of growth that we've seen, but then the other piece of it is trying to capture that demand that we've seen and provide more services for the public, and then making sure we plan for that in the future. So in addition to the single-family home permits we've seen, we also have 902 total building permits in 2024 compared to 1,086 in 2023. I always like to include this because it kind of shows that there's investment happening generally in the city, which we always want to see, of course. And then just so far this year, we have 257 building permits, which is kind of on track with what we've seen. So always like to include the data in that presentation as well. Residential development highlights. So a lot of these, if you've been to the previous State of the Cities, you've probably seen some of these same developments. That's because they're big developments, they take years to fill. So existing right now, we've seen quite a few building permits for not only Greenbrier Hills 7th, which is on the northeast side of town, but all of Greenbrier Hills. That development is kind of nearing completion now. All of the public improvements have been installed. It's really just filling lots at this point. So seen several of those come through. Arbor Meadows, which is just north of that and just south of the Buffalo Township Hall. We've seen several building permits for those. That whole area is starting to fill out a little bit. And then the new developments we've seen, Settlers Brook. So this is right off of Highway 55, just south of Settlers Parkway. So there's Settlers Brook, first, second, and third edition. They recently just got their final plat for the third edition. So several homes there. As you drive by on Settlers Parkway, you see it. That whole area has seen quite a bit of development here in the last couple of years. Last year we had Creekside Manor as a 40-unit, 55 and up senior complex. So that whole area of town has seen a lot of development. But in terms of proposed developments, there's a lot more than that, I would say. So we have two big projects that are coming online here that are currently in the planning processes. One is called South Shores on Lake Pulaski, and I'll have a slide specifically on this one later on, but currently it's slated for 303 single-family homes and then 608 attached units. The attached units can be anything from attached townhomes up to apartments. You see a good mix of that. And I'll show again later on in the slide, but that is for the farmland that's just west of the high school. So you'll see it when you're driving through town. And then the other big one, obviously Taylor mentioned earlier, is the redevelopment of former Wright County Government Center. Right now we know that the developers are proposing 16 patio homes, kind of like townhomes attached, but they have a little bit more of a single family home feel. And then market rate apartments, number yet unknown, but they do have two buildings that you will see in the slides later on. So in terms of projects, as Jason mentioned, there's a lot going on. I like to keep people busy. I like to keep myself busy, which is great until it's too busy and then I get a little overwhelmed. But be that as it may, Taylor mentioned earlier the First Avenue Northeast reconstruction project. We are currently working through that process. We're in the design development phase at this point. There's a task force that we have made up of downtown business owners that are affected on that street. The big thing I wanted to touch on with this one, now that we have the streetscape kind of design, we know what that looks like. Now we get to work on the fun parts, I guess you could say. So we have, we're looking at things like street lighting. Where do we want street lighting to go? Where do we want benches to go? Where do we want trees to go? So there's a lot of the, in addition to the actual street design that you'll see and you'll use in your vehicle as you're driving by, of course, there's also going to be a lot of those urban design elements, I think, that you'll see that will be pretty exciting. So we do obviously expect there to be an impact. We have some plans on how to mitigate that a little bit, but we're excited to see on the other side of that what that area will become. Another big project we've been working on, I talked a little bit about this last year, is the marketing and development of the Buffalo Business and Commerce Park. So the city purchased this land. It used to be the Dunnick Gravel Pit, the Dunnick Hicks Gravel Pit on 55, heading out of town. So the city's purchased that. Now we're kind of in the phase where we're trying to plan out how to market it and how to build it. Because there's, as you all know, I mean, having a strong industrial base and a strong commercial base is important for for the city. So we're excited to get to that stage. We're moving forward with some more advertising, ways to get our name out, ways to get the site out a little bit more. So hopefully we'll have some more to share next year when I present on this. Another thing we're doing, business retention and expansion visits, so BRE visits. Some of you in the room, I did some 2 years ago. We're starting those back up again. So you'll be seeing me, you'll be getting an email from myself about visiting. So just want to really just gauge the environment for each individual business. How are they feeling? What can the city do to help? Is there any expansion plans we need to be mindful of? Any challenge you're facing that we could help fix, I think is kind of the goal of that. So we'll be reaching out here shortly to continue those visits. Rental housing licensing, so this is a very exciting one. We currently don't license rental housing in the city, but as the city's grown, we've decided that it's in our best interest to start licensing some rental housing. So we'll be starting that up somewhat soon here, working with the fire department and working with our building inspectors, probably be a semi-annual basis. And with that, we also do intend to hire a code enforcement officer. So their role would be assisting with the rental inspections, but then also responding to a lot of the zoning code complaints we get. We're going to continue to be a complaint-based code response city, but having someone on board to take on that, I think, will be a huge benefit to the city and to existing staff. Another exciting project is the future of the Buffalo Cinema Building. So the city, as you know, a couple of years ago, the HRA explored some potential synergies, I guess, with that building and our desire to have a new community center. Obviously with Penrod now, we don't need to go that route necessarily, but we have talked to the building owner, and there's some exciting plans that they are bringing that the city wants to assist with. So probably more to come on that in the year, but we're excited to see that there's some movement there, and hopefully we'll have something to share with you perhaps next year. Then two last ones, murals in downtown Buffalo. So murals has been something that I think for years the city's kind of explored, but we wanted to go to allow for murals, not allow for them. We recently updated our sign ordinance, which does allow for murals, but the process, we'll have it go through the Buffalo Tourism Board, which we have some city representatives on, and then we'll have mural permits reviewed by council. So this is specifically for downtown Buffalo. We're excited to see the outcome of this. There's a number of building owners downtown that have expressed an interest with it. I think that kind of pairs pretty nicely with the First Avenue project. So on the other side of that First Avenue project, there'll be a lot of street improvements that we're excited about, but then there's also potential for public art that we've not seen before. So excited to see that. That's been something I think we've been talking about for a couple of years now, and we're excited to kind of move that forward. And then lastly, Jason touched on this a little bit, stormwater reuse opportunities. So there's some projects we're seeing, I think, with our desire to be as efficient a utility as we can. We're exploring some opportunities for stormwater reuse that can lessen the impact on our wells. So there's big developments, one of which being South Shores and Lake Pulaski, where we're exploring the possibility of that, which I think is something that we've also talked about for years, but now we have some models to follow. So very excited about that project. Hopefully have more on that in the future as well. So this is the big one. So South Shores and Lake Pulaski. As I mentioned earlier, this is a development when you're heading west of the high school or northeast of town, kind of past Coburn's, big farmland right now. So this parcel is currently, well, a number of parcels are currently outside of city limits. Developers have approached us seeking to bring a development to the city that is probably the largest we've ever seen at one time. It'll be certainly done in phases, but it's currently 210-acre housing project consisting of, again, approximately 303 single-family homes and 608 attached housing units. So this process is a long one, so they are currently in the midst of what's called an environmental assessment worksheet, or EAW, which really means, given the scope of the project, there's a lot more state bodies that want eyes on it. So they're currently finishing that up. We expect to have that in front of the council in the next month or so. Once that's completed, then we can move forward with some of the other public hearings, the typical city process we have, which is PUD reviews or plating reviews or zoning reviews in front of the Planning Commission, the Housing Redevelopment Authority, and then the City Council. I wanted to note here that from the city perspective, I guess there's two things. The first part, in terms of growth for the city, obviously that's exciting. We're excited to see it. It really helps whenever there's an opportunity to have a development that's surrounded by existing utilities. Infill development is the most cost-effective for a city to allow for and encourage. So having this massive parcel right in the middle of the city, surrounded by existing utilities, really makes it a little bit easier for us to accommodate it. And then the other part with this, and this is I think the really exciting part for the city, proposed with this development is an extension of Griffin Park Road. So this is a road, if you look at a map, you can kind of see where it would go. This has long been something that the city has wanted to see, but as those parcels, we only build the roads as they're developed, we haven't had an opportunity. But Pulaski Road is a pretty busy road. It's not built to accommodate all the traffic that it currently sees. So with this extension of Griffin Park Road would really help from a streets perspective, our ability to repair Pulaski Road and ensure that the traffic that's on this new Griffin Park Road is built to accommodate the traffic that it will see. So there's a lot with this project. They just went to the Parks Board last night. We do expect probably, I would say June, July, we'll probably start to see some applications in front of the Planning Commission. This will be done in phases, as I mentioned earlier. It's a really large development, and it kind of runs the gamut in terms of types of housing. But excited to see it. This is a potential opportunity for stormwater reuse here that we have to kind of see how that plays out, but excited to see it move forward, I guess. And then the other big one is the former Wright County Government Center redevelopment. So I shared a little bit of this last year, but now I've included some renderings here. So as a reminder for everyone, the Wright County Economic Development Authority, or the EDA, has entered into an agreement with Blue Coals Properties. They're out of Fargo. It's for the redevelopment of the county governments that are downtown. So this is a project that is a complicated one as well. They will also need the environmental assessment worksheet, in this case, because they're so close to the shoreline. But this project is going to be contingent on a variety of land use and engineering approvals. There will be a considerable amount of public hearings about this one. We added a project website for that reason. So I encourage everyone to sign up for updates. There will be a variety of opportunities, I would say, to have public input. But all the while, we're always welcome to hear input on it. This is not the final design. This is the first concept they've shared with us. As I mentioned earlier, there's 16 patio homes. Then there's 2 5-story apartment buildings. Market rate, we don't know the amount of units yet. Then there's some commercial there as well. So just a rendering right now. We expect the developers to revise it a little bit based off of a workshop that was had with the Planning Commission and Council back in January, but still excited to see this come to fruition as well. And we expect this development probably towards the latter half of this year. We'll come forward with a lot of the approvals, with construction expected probably in 2026 as well. So with that, we just want to send another reminder. Just feel free to contact us about anything we've talked about today. I'm always available to talk about development. There's a lot of complicated developments happening at the same time, and I'm in the midst of it all. So I certainly encourage you to reach out and talk to me. Contact city staff. We're always here to help. We're always available. And we welcome feedback from residents, and we're excited to have the opportunity again to present in front of you today. So with that, I will be turning it over to our Sergeant, Mark Brown, to present next.
All right. Sorry that Chief couldn't be here. He's sorry he couldn't be here. I'm going to do my best to fill in for him. I am Mark Brown. I'm a sergeant with investigations at Buffalo PD, which is a super fancy way of saying I'm just another detective with a lot more paperwork. So I appreciate you letting me speak here for a few minutes. So, this is our Buffalo Police Department. I tried to capture it with a flag at full staff just from yesterday because your police department is at full staffing and it's been really, really nice. A lot of times we get questions on, well, how many officers do you have? I just wanted to throw this out there just so you can see it. There are a few people I left out on purpose, only because I want to talk about them for a second. This is Tony Daniels. He is our community service officer, and he's the heart and soul of our police department. If you don't know Tony, if you haven't met Tony, I'm sorry. He's a fantastic guy, and he occasionally does a pretty good job of announcing as well at our Buffalo high school events. We also like to call him Tony Hawk because it seems like anything that's happening around town, law enforcement related, anybody who decides to sneak around town, he has an uncanny way of being at the right place at the right time and finding people very quickly. We've stopped kind of going to the calls anymore. We just go to where Tony is when we're faced with something. Chief of Police is not here to defend himself, so I tried to capture a photo of him. I feel does a good job. It also captures his sense of humor. If you didn't know, he's a big family, a couple of young kids at home. And one of the things we like to talk about is some of the shows that they like to watch. And he noticed the other day that when his kids watch these Lego shows, you can always distinguish who the chief of police is. There's one accessory you can give a pro tip for if any of you have little kids at home. If you're ever at the Lego store and you want to find that accessory that turns your police officer Lego guy into a chief of police, you just give him a coffee mug or a coffee. Kind of sets the tone. But anyway, no, he of course couldn't be here. Let's go into the kind of day in life of a Buffalo police officer. I just took this from a few days ago. This is kind of what it looks like when one of us comes on call. Even though we have 3 detectives, we also have detectives that do patrol work as well. So it could be a mix and match of investigative work. But this kind of gives you a flavor of just what a shift looks like, kind of the variety of calls and the variety of things we deal with. And any of these calls can kind of come at any given time. So I don't know how many times I've started a shift where it's a heart attack immediately. 5 minutes ago, in fact, or a couple of minutes ago, when I'm just getting suited up. So thought you'd kind of appreciate just kind of what that looks like. Trends. So where are we at from 2024 to 2025? One of the ones I wanted to comment on was, even though it's not necessarily criminally concerned with criminal matters, is medicals. We always kind of pay attention to when our ER goes on divert or when our Wright County ERs get filled up. And I was surprised that I think, some of you over the holidays probably thought that this year was a worse year than last year. But we actually went down. We had a lot of our medicals in categories. And one of the things that surprised me is our medicals for sick, just people being sick, went from 122 last year at this time to 88. That was a surprise. The other thing I want to note here is med psychs. As you know, we deal with a lot of medical psychological calls. And one of the things that's happened over the years is this has significantly dropped for us as well. I give that, I would attribute that to a lot of patience on our officers' part. When they're answering and responding, they show a lot of patience. They develop relationships with people. They continue to work with them. The other thing too is the crisis units from multiple different agencies, St. Cloud, and also Wright County co-responder program. That's been a great benefit in the last couple of years. Drugs has pretty much stayed the same, and that's, if you want to know your kind of big 3, for us it's been fentanyl, of course, methamphetamine, and cocaine has made somewhat of a comeback. Just trying to think, frauds and thefts are lower. From an investigative standpoint and paperwork standpoint, thank goodness they're getting lower. I'm very thankful to Adam here for partnering with us and having the police department come over to the community center, speak to groups about frauds and scams. I'm actually going to showcase one of those things in just a second, just as an upcoming event. But I think education has been a big part of that, family talking to each other. And the last thing I want to mention is business owners. We have gone from answering these frauds late in the game and being able to get money back and or stopping it right at the bank, stopping it right when they're going to Walgreens or one of the local shops, picking up credit cards and picking up Apple cards, because that's how you pay the FBI, or that's how you pay the IRS. So I'm really appreciative of business owners really kind of recognizing when things are happening. So last, we have actually just right now partnering with the Buffalo Hanover Montrose School District. We are working on a mock crash this morning. A few of us who have been in law enforcement for many years always get this ominous feeling about this time of year, about the time when graduation's coming up. It feels like some more scary accidents involving youth happen near and or around the time of graduation. So very thankful to the school district for partnering with us and for Wright County Sheriff's Office to do these mock crashes and to have these kids experience this. I think it's a very valuable asset for the safety of our youth. And we have a few events coming up. These are not all of them. We also have the Buffalo Triathlon, of course, Buffalo Days coming up. But Cop on a Rooftop, this is something new we're going to do this year to raise money for Special Olympics. We absolutely love partnering with Special Olympics. And this is a new thing where we're going to find ourselves on top of the Dunkin' Donuts to help raise money at about 5:45 to 6 a.m. in the morning. And then we're also going to be doing a fraud and scam seminar at the Buffalo Council Chambers on the 29th and that'll be with myself, and Adam will be helping with that. We also have a bunch of local events involving parks and the youth in our town. We got kickball coming up May 14th, and a bunch of other events that we're partnering with as well. And then the last thing is, police officers go through many battles. A lot of battles, a lot of tough things, we deal with a lot, psychologically and everything else, but I don't know anything that challenges us more traditionally than going against the fire department. So September 20th is the new date this year when Buffalo PD will be going against the Buffalo Fire Department. Please support us, the blue, that is, as we face them. So if you guys have any questions, please find me afterwards. If you have any complaints, I take them, but you have to submit your license plate number at the time. So, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for your time.
Sean, wherever Sean said.
Nice job. Sorry, Dr. Tillman, you and I have this ongoing little battle, and I have 8 pages of notes. I'll stick to it, so you should have like 38 seconds at the end of this. I'm just kidding. Great job, Mark. Great update. Just to echo a lot of things. There's never a dull moment. There just really isn't. We have tremendous growth going on, a lot of fantastic things, but with that tremendous growth and those opportunities come a number of challenges. We're continuing adjusting how we do business, how we train, how we get everybody through the requirements, and then you have the legislative weight pushing certain things in our direction. So it's constantly a juggling act, and I'm very fortunate. We have 3 police departments across the county. We are true partners and work very well together. So just a couple of things. I always try to be a little bit entertaining while I'm up here, and I always like to try to give you some information that you can take away that makes you maybe ponder and think. But it's been busy. 2 weekends ago, we booked 34 people into jail. That's a pretty busy weekend, but that's a trend. As the weather starts getting nicer, we pick up. But there's a lot of things going on. Unapologetically, last year we had 472 DWI arrests. If you don't want a DWI, don't drive drugged or intoxicated. I push accountability all the time. We are the #1 agency in the state outside of the Minnesota State Patrol for DWI arrests. What are you doing in your downtime? What are we looking for? Probably the concerning trend in that is the controlled substance DWIs. Alcohol is always going to be there, but it's our ability to detect with the drugs on board and really what's going on. We have people literally crashed out sleeping at a stoplight, we'll have them at a gas pump. They don't know if they're on foot or horseback. And the effects of today's drugs, specifically fentanyl, which we are seeing increasing levels and increasing things with that, it's troubling, especially when they're on the roadways. So hats off to my team. That's a record for us, and just so far this year we're at 193. So that is a concerning trend that affects every single one of us on the roadways. So it doesn't seem like it's out of the norm anymore to seize ounces or even pounds of methamphetamine. Meth is still king in Wright County. It has been for a number of years, and it continues to be. We have a lot of supply. Meth labs have virtually gone away, but we still have lots of dope coming from Mexico. So there's not a shortage. To give you an idea, you can get a pound of meth these days for $1,000 to $2,000. When I was working narcotics in 2000, a pound of meth went for $20,000. So that gives you a little indication of how much it is. Supply and demand, right? They're pretty smart at the way they run their business. Recently, we had a traffic stop that resulted in 17 grams of fentanyl. 17 grams is enough to kill everyone in this room 5 times. Why do we have that kind of fentanyl on a traffic stop? 3 weeks ago, I had a deputy. Thank goodness the circumstances were he called out that he was on a traffic stop and he was going to do a vehicle search. He had a partner swing by his traffic stop. Inside that vehicle search, he found an Altoids tin, and he opened it up and there was tinfoil inside. Tinfoil is a red alert for us. He couldn't manipulate it with his glove on. He took his glove off, opened the tin foil, saw the powder, closed the tin. Within 30 seconds, he started overdosing. His partner had to Narcan him, and he took an ambulance trip to the ER. They monitored him for a number of hours and released him. Thank goodness his partner was there. Had his partner not been there, folks, that could have been an unbelievably tragic outcome for us. It happened that quick. He didn't breathe it in. It was through osmosis by touching the tin foil that was laced. Most people do not realize 2 milligrams is a lethal dose to most humans, and it takes so little amount. That's why I tell people, this is my PSA. If you are a parent, you are a grandparent, talk to your kids, talk to your grandkids. Any pill outside of a pharmacy is like playing Russian roulette. It's that scary. You could have 10 tablets, 9 people have a really good time. 1 person ends up dead. In the last 5 or 6 years, we've Narcan 300 people, and we have a couple hundred saves. Every year we have a number of life-saving awards. So, but the example with the tinfoil and just that small touch, unbeknownst to any of us, we might pick up a piece of tinfoil to throw it in the trash. We could have kids walking down a hallway thinking they're doing a good deed, grabbing something, throwing it in a trash can, not realizing they were just exposed to something as dangerous and toxic as fentanyl. So PSA, Russian roulette, no pills, save lives, truly save lives. We've had a concerning uptick in, Mark touched on it. It seems like society in general, the med psychs, there's a sense of helplessness, hopelessness that's going on. You can pull up YouTube and watch police clips all day long. The sovereign citizen movement is alive and well. It's really unfortunate. They don't want to cooperate with the traffic stop. They want to fight they want to make the arguments on the roadside instead of going to court, making their legal arguments in court where it belongs. They want to make those legal challenges. In the last 2 weeks, we've had to break out 2 windows. If you're asked for your driver's license, please just give your driver's license. Please just give your name. We'll give you a ticket or a verbal warning and you'll be on your way. We don't want to break out windows and we don't want to haul you off to jail just because you were speeding or some other minor traffic infraction. But that's where it goes. We have a job to do. We have the legal basis to be there. If you want to make legal arguments, let's do it in court. But you can see it. Society is changing. That's where law enforcement, without getting into the political realm of things going on, we've got all kinds of things going on, but law enforcement unfortunately gets pulled right into the middle of that. We're still called to keep the peace. Keep the peace is That's for all of you to walk around with your blinders on, not realizing there's a whole bunch of crazy people out there that we're keeping at bay. So you can go about your lives, raising your kids, raising your families, working and enjoying your lives like that side isn't existing. But that's where we get called in, and that's what we're dealing with more and more frequently. An uptick, this is for you business owners. We've had a number of armed robberies this year. This is my shameless annual plug to Russell's over here. Security is paramount. If you see a blob on your security camera system, that's all that we get instead of a clear image. So if you want to truly protect yourself, protect your business, the upgrades are pretty inexpensive these days. So do what you can to protect yourself, but it is concerning, at least it's a trend, I would say, at least this year, we're seeing an uptick in armed robberies. 3 days after Christmas, it was a significant armory, it was a robbery, it was the jewelry store, Colonial Jewelers in St. Michael. It was a significant loss. So do what you can to protect yourselves and certainly partner with us. We actually have a team of people within the sheriff's office. If you want a security assessment of your business, we'll actually do that free of charge. Just contact our office. We have people specifically trained in that. So if you want some ideas as far as your business is concerned, employees coming and going, people outside of your business coming and going, let us know. We'll do that assessment for free. A little concerning, doxing and swatting. If you're an elected official, city council members, right, you're making decisions all the time. You have things on your agenda that could be controversial. You might think that redevelopment is a really good idea. You might have some people that think that's a horrible idea. The political spectrum, obviously, we have state representatives and senators that live in our county. We have a U.S. congressman that lives in our county, has an office in our county. That office has been protested about 6 times so far this spring. We had about 200 people protesting out near the Albertville Outlet Mall last weekend. So again, that's where we get pulled into the middle. We want to stay out of the political realm, but when you start blocking off traffic, that's when we become involved. I will not tolerate blocking off traffic or criminal damage to your property because you're trying to get through where these people want to protest. If they want to stand in the right of way and hold their signs and yell and chant all day long, I don't care. But if it starts affecting you, I do care, and we will not tolerate it in Wright County. One point of bad news, and then I'll end with a little good news. Staffing in law enforcement. That's a huge thing for Mark to say we are fully staffed. That is becoming few and far between anymore. There are not enough people coming into our industry. The Post Board and Para just released about a month ago, they're expecting 2,000 retirements in Minnesota in the next 3 years. If you couple that with the fact that we're already 900 down, and you've got 150 people a year graduating from college, folks, you can see that there is some devastating, darker days coming for our industry in the future. I don't know what that looks like, but that will certainly be challenges for future law enforcement. Is obviously we have to stay competitive in the workplace, but we have to have the ability to recruit new talent, but even more importantly, retain those good people that we already have. Make wise investments in our staffing, driving culture. I've done that for the last 6.5 years now. We drive culture every single day. I'm immensely proud of our organization as well. So hats off to Buffalo. Obviously, you're doing some good things. A little bit of good news. We are setting records this year, because we have the staffing to do it. For the last several years, you all know that we've been boarding for other counties that are having some difficulty in their jails. We are fully staffed in our jail. Not only are we fully staffed, I have overcomp in my jail. Because we have that staffing, we have had the tremendous opportunity to take boarders from other counties that don't have the space, or for whatever reason, DOC sanctioned Hennepin County not that long ago. So we have a number of Hennepin County inmates in our jail. In the month of February, we made $248,000 in boarding fees, and last month we broke that record at $262,000. And I would say April, when I get those numbers in the next couple of weeks, will probably break another record. So right now, we're on a very good trajectory to bring in some revenues. We're never gonna break even. I'm not in the money-making business. We're not gonna start banging out license plates or anything like that. But obviously, all the revenues that we can generate, our jail runs more efficient the fuller it is. So the more revenues that we can generate in our jail is going to reduce the levy impact on our taxpayers. So, like Mark, I will stick around afterwards. Feel free to hit me up. It's always a pleasure. Thank you to the city of Buffalo for allowing me a couple of minutes to come and share some things with you.
Scott Tillman, Superintendent, Buffalo Hanover Montrose School District. Thanks for being here and have a great afternoon. I'm going to see if I can call up my computer. As I said, Scott Tillman, Superintendent of Buffalo Hanover Montrose School District. This is completing my 15th year as the Superintendent of the Buffalo Hanover Montrose School District and 23rd year as a superintendent. And if I really want to dig deep, my 33rd year as an administrator in public education. Thanks for being here today, and I just truly appreciate the opportunity every year to present to the chamber and be able to thank you and thank you for your support, whether it's at our academic luncheon, if it's at the chamber golf tournament, or just your support of our student organizations. We truly appreciate your support for our students and our school district. I also want to thank the city of Buffalo for our partnership. As you saw, Lions Park has a playground that we use for Parkside Elementary and Discovery Elementary, and also tennis courts at our middle school. We have a partnership there, as well as other community programming. And then I want to thank Wright County for their support through SROs, through the Safe Schools program, and I also want to go back and thank the city for the SRO support in our schools. I always use this map just to kind of give you an overview or a picture of our district. This is the continent of Africa with an appendage, right? So to the very east of our school district, we're crossing Highway 94. So we touch the Osseo School District, the Anoka Hennepin School District, and the Elk River School District. And at the Rogers exit, that's Buffalo out there where those Lennar homes are. We have 6 elementary schools. We have 1 middle school, 1 high school. We also have a Pride Transitions program that serves 18 to 22-year-old students, as well as a alternative learning program, Phoenix Learning Center. I just want to really focus on the great things that we're offering our students. You might say this is quite a claim. Prove it. And I guess I'm here to quickly make this argument that strong schools equals strong communities. From our comprehensive preschool program to our portrait of a graduate, you can see in this photo, our portrait of a graduate, I spoke to this a little bit last year, rigorous academics, opportunity, knowledge, and student agency. So making sure that the kids have opportunities and knowledge about the opportunities that await them after they graduate, and then student agency, advocating for themselves of what they want to pursue in their career and the next step of their life. We offer 40 college classes, more than double any in Wright County, and even in the Lake Conference. And our Minnesota transfer curriculum focuses on 10 goal areas, And we also have a unique program with the Hennepin Technical College where they can take those college credits and transfer them anywhere to any technical college instead of an articulation agreement, which is only one-to-one with that particular technical college. So we do the numbers, we crunch the numbers. 86.5% of our students, a class of 2025, will have at least one college class that they will have completed. And when we calculate that by those colleges that we have the agreements with, it saved our community, or our students and parents, $1.9 million just this year for college credits that we offer. I want to focus on students and their achievements. Here we have a couple of students that are Jade Holman and Julian Kiranimi. They're National Merit Scholar finalists right now. We'll know in a couple of weeks if they're actually the scholars. But they were part of the Quest program, our Gifted and Talented program. And they just were celebrated last week. And both of them are going to be at the University of Minnesota, and they're both enrolled in the aerospace engineering program. And of the 4 students that we recognized last week, 3 of them are going to the University of Minnesota, and those 3 are all 3 in the aerospace engineering program. So I just wanted to call that out. The National Merit Scholar Program is not a big award, but Julian shared with me that because he was a finalist, he got a $10,000 a year scholarship from the University of Minnesota. So great exposure, or great access for those students. This is our fall production of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and this featured Avery Russick as Esmeralda. More than 85 students participated in that production, and we have award-winning programs every year. No other high school in Wright County offers orchestra in 3 world languages. We offer Spanish, French, and German, and our orchestra program has just grown over the last 15 years. We have nationally recognized programs. Here's just a few of them. And I'll highlight 2 BHS students qualified for the National Business Professionals of America Leadership Conference that's going to be held in Kissimmee, Florida next week. And it's Kylie Kilm is going to compete in integrated office apps, and Luke Ramstead is going to compete in the admin support research. Our highly rated preschool programs feed into the elementary level. So we have our early childhood family education preschool programs. We have parent-child classes. We have 3-day, 4-day, 5-day, all-day programs. We have a choice for all our parents. And then they get to choose if they want to go into a multi-age looping program, STEM, STEAM, or into their neighborhood schools. Many of our staff are recognized in their fields at the state and national level. Just recently, we just found out Danielle Stein was recognized. She received the 2025 Emerging Leader Award from the Minnesota Association of Family and Early Education. She's an early childhood family education teacher. And we're just really, really proud of her and her recognition. This guy is sitting right back there in the back of the room, Derek Larson. Thanks to him and to all of you that have helped us. We truly appreciate your support in volunteering in the schools. And this was Career Day, and we were able to take some pictures, and we truly appreciate your support of our students and what you can share with them about what they can experience after they leave our schools. College and career opportunities are highlighted at all levels, starting at elementary. This is just a cute little picture of elementary students. We have police department, we have fire department, we have, it looks like doctors and scientists, and then we also have space exploration. I want to cover just a couple of things. We thank you for the support of our $41.5 million bond that was passed in 2023. And right now we're in the process of demoing some of the front entry of the high school. That new secure entrance is gonna push that entry out, and we'll be able to let people in as they pass through our offices and not just come through the vestibule and into the main part of the building. This is what we hope it looks like when it's all completed at the high school. And then the same is happening at the middle school right now. And this is gonna be what it looks like when we're all done at the middle school. The existing programs right now, we're looking at the Performing Arts Center and getting an overhaul. Hasn't been touched since 1997. So new seating, new lighting, new sound, new curtains, all of those types of things. We have, we did a survey or analysis of this. The Performing Arts Center at the Buffalo High School was in use 2 out of every 3 days during 22-23. So from everything in class lectures to concerts to theater performance, so 2 out of every 3 days, someone's in that facility. And we also know that it's being used by our community and Buffalo Community Theater and other outside organizations. As we said, this is our project. We did completed Hanover, Tatanka, and Montrose playground. This is Hanover right here. And then we'll be finishing the Lions Park edition and Northwinds Elementary. Our latest initiative is the Bison Online. We provided that service, but it was outsourced with one of our partners at the Southwest Metro Intermediate District. Now we're bringing that all in-house, and then we have the capacity to do that, and we feel that we'll better serve our students. So with that, we thank you. I thank you for your attention, and I'll stick around for any questions you may have. We have our upcoming graduations for the Pride 18 to 22-year-old ceremony is on June 3rd. The high school graduation is on June 6th at 7 p.m. out at the high school, and our adults with adult basic education ceremony is on June 10th at 7 p.m. Realtors, we want to really promote our school district. We think we have a great product, as I said, strong communities, a strong school, strong communities. So realtors, we have packets that we want to get to you, and we want to share some marketing information with you. So if you would, if you're able to stick around, Paul Downer, our communications coordinator is here, and I am too, and we'll connect with you and make sure you get everything you need. With that, thank you for your time.
I don't think I've ever heard you speak quite that fast. That's amazing. Again, thank you all. Thanks to all the speakers here today, from Steve, Taylor, David, Jason. I hope I get everybody. Mark, Sean, Scott. We would have had Brian Kozlowski here from the Wright Tech Center too, but he was unable to make it today. So appreciate you guys all speaking. If you wouldn't mind hanging around for a photo afterwards, that would be great. And while they're hanging around, I assume it'd be okay if you guys have questions. Be sure to stop and ask. I had a lot of questions. It's great seeing all the, I'm a visual learner, so I love looking at maps. I love hearing statistics. That makes me have an understanding. I now, know that my commute to work is gonna be longer once the government center is done. It might be a mile and a quarter instead of a mile. But it's all good things. And sometimes I feel bad for some of the guff that we get, whether it's something. To me, if Buffalo's not growing, we're dying, right? So change is hard, but I can't see anything negative about anything I saw up here today. I'm so excited for the community center, and Adam's been doing such a great job with the current location, but just think what you could do with a new location, and to have the splash pad be a part of that, and just how we all work together to make Buffalo a great place. And being a Buffalo native, I think I still love living here in my old age, and I will stay here till I'm done. So I love it, and thanks to all you for making that happen. Have a good rest of the day. Appreciate it.